Well, what did I tell you? Rafa wins in 3 sets, and I do believe I said at the end of yesterday's video in my prediction, I said Rafa would win in 3, and I said there would be some moments where Rafa fans would be a little bit scared out there. I mean, just look at Rafa's biggest fans in the world. Look at the team and the player box. Rafa's team a little bit scared. Looking there, some moments, some tight moments early on in the 3rd set. Everyone at the place had a Spanish flag, it seemed like. Let's take a look. Let's look at the match and pictures and video. Here we go. Everyone's having a good time. Some party music going here. You see those Spanish flags? They could be Alcaraz fans, but we're pretty sure they're Rafa fans, especially this one with the big Vamos Rafa on it. And then the camera stumbled across this lady. She's got a flag, but what's behind the flag? She wants to show everyone her Rafa logo. Now she's gyrating it. Cut the camera. They had to cut the camera. Don't stay there too long. Go to the lady doing the selfie. Interesting. I noticed after that, you didn't see as many shots of the Busta, not Pablo Carreño Busta, but in German, the Busta, the chest. Not too many more shots of some of the ladies in the crowd after that. I wonder if somebody in the director's booth was like, all right, camera guys, we've had enough of those kind of shots. Anyways, we do continue. This was after Rafa wins the 1st set. It was a party. It was very lively. We saw the woman gyrating the Busta with the Rafa logo upon it. That's all she was trying to show us. Camera guys, director of the camera crew. Got the wrong idea there, I think. Then comes the wind. They said it was 15 to 25 miles an hour at times gusting to 40 mile per hour wind. That is unplayable. Take a look at the leaves and the trees and the breeze blowing hard around the grounds of Indian Wells. Then we go to this incredible stat. You will not see this maybe ever again, so take a look at this one and enjoy. As we know, Rafa takes a long time. This is because of the tornado, the hurricane, the wind that they were in the middle of in this 2nd set. And Rafa averaging 35 seconds in between points. Alcaraz averaging more at 38. You might never see that stat again. I think it was just because of the wind. I think Rafa on average will take longer than Carlos Alcaraz. Or somebody told me how to say it. I was saying it wrong. I don't know. I'm going to have to work on it another time. Let's look at what Rafa was dealing with. Like I said earlier, Rafa's coaches looked pretty scared. And we've talked about this before. The Alcaraz forehand is a little bit, for all the comparisons to Rafa that we get on Alcaraz, his forehand and his ability to flip it. We've seen this one where Alcaraz gears up for the big forehand and then switch the grip and hit the beautiful drop shot, right? Alcaraz is very good at that. Can you recall seeing anyone 18 years old who could do it like that? So reminiscent of Roger Federer there, and like Felix Auger-Aliassime, the forehand grip is more flat. It's a flatter ball, right? It's closer to like an Eastern grip or a continental grip. Eastern grip is the way to go. It's in between Eastern and semi-Western. Most people are hitting on the tour semi-Western grip. You get more cut. The angle is more like this when you hit the ball on the racket face. In this semi-Western grip here, right? You hit the ball like that. And then in the Federer grip, and Alcaraz, I'm pretty sure has this same grip along with Felix Auger. It's more like this. So, we're talking about a difference of this and that. But what it does is it makes that ball come through the court a little faster. So take a look. Look at this forehand. This is something to deal with from Alcaraz, as you can see. And, it's a little bit scary when you talk about how he can do everything else. And I heard, this is not me. This is the commentators who are good commentators, although I have a criticism of them today. We'll get into that in a second. But the commentators at Indian Wells on Tennis TV, which is where I watch most of these Masters 1000 tournaments, they were pointing out that, again, this is not me, because when you say stuff like this, usually people get critical and say like, oh, Matt, that's ridiculous. You're just, over-exaggerating. Alcaraz is good, but he's not that good. They said he's really a mix of all 3 of the big 3. And as I'm watching this match, I'm thinking like, yeah, Rafa himself in press said that Alcaraz is the total package, that he literally has everything. And as you saw, he's got this forehand that is a little more scary than average. Obviously, he's got movement that's out of this world. And now, take a look at this. This movement and balance, plus the incredible stroke alone, it reminds me of Djokovic. You see Alcaraz cutting out to the left side to get a backhand. It's a little more defensive. And then the way he can, and you really see it in the slow motion play here, the way that he can cut back, just stop and lean back on his left side and then rip a backhand winner like that. reminiscent of Djokovic. Just look at the force on that thing and the follow-through. And, of course, we just talked about the hand skills, but now it's not just the drop shot that he can sneak attack on you when he looks like he's about to hit a big forehand. It's this. Take a look at this. This is on the run, sliding into a pinpoint lob, backhand lob over Rafa up the line for a clean winner. So the hand skills aren't just the drop shots, right? They come with a lot of stuff. They also come with this one, out of this world drop volley. You rarely see anyone do this. When was the last time you saw an 18-year-old player hitting a shot like this? And again, in a tornado, this was third set, the wind did calm down by then. So we get to see them showcase. Like the second set, there was a lot of just spinning and wristing the ball as hard as you can and lifting it up high just to make sure the thing didn't go out and wait until somebody missed the ball because the wind was so bad. It's like if I hit it now and then Rafa has the ball on that side of the court and the wind gusts, when he's got it, he's going to miss instead of me, right? It was kind of a war of attrition. And the commentators were really saying it's amazing how Alcaraz, Rafa's so good in the wind, Alcaraz was even better in the wind. But I think I disagree with them on this one thing. Very good commentators at Tennis TV, pretty much right on everything, but I think they missed this one. And Rafa, he has the answer for you in the encore interview, which I'll play for you in a moment when we get there. Then, of course, we saw Rafa's camp worried, as I predicted on the show. And then Nadal, what does he do? Well, this reminds me of Djokovic, and I think, was this the Paris Indoor Masters? Djokovic wins last year against Medvedev, and Medvedev was out playing. I remember at the time I made a video saying that maybe Djokovic is the third best baseliner because, Zverev and Medvedev were just playing so good on these indoor courts from the baseline. A little more power than Djokovic, not missing much. It looked like maybe they were better than him in this situation, right? What did Djokovic do? He came to net more than we've ever seen him come to net before, and he beats Medvedev to take that title. Unfortunately, he didn't go on to win the World Tour Finals after that. So Nadal, of course, has to go to net, and just take a look at this. Incredible from Rafa.
Oh, what a volley.
This one, to jump out and hit that forehand volley on the full stretch with the force like that to pop it up the line for a clean winner. Very impressive stuff, and I'm sure you'll remember this point. We'll cue it up right from when Rafa hits a big approach shot, big backhand, coming into the net. And Alcaraz, he's here, he's there, he's every freaking where. Alcaraz is unbelievable, as Rafa would say. But Rafa puts it away. All right, we got the insane nets. Now let's look at what it means. If Rafa, of course, he's 20-0 now. If he beats Fritzy Boy later today, I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern time, he'll be 21-0. He skips Miami. Of course, we will see him again in Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo on the clay. Could you imagine Rafa? He's never done anything like this before. Yes, I know. It must be said, if Djokovic were allowed to play at the Australian here at Indian Wells, maybe this wouldn't be happening. Although he was allowed to play in Dubai, obviously he lost there. I do think part of that is because the guy hasn't been able to play at all. Like it has its effect even on the best player in the world. There is no doubt right now that Rafa is the best player in the world right now, of course. We look forward very much to seeing Djokovic at the Monte Carlo. I think he's cleared the play. He's definitely playing the French Open. I think he can play the Monte Carlo as well. We look very much forward to that. It is a slight, I'm not going to say asterisk, but it's definitely worth mentioning, and it's sad that it's come to this, right? Djokovic should have been allowed into the U.S. It's ridiculous that he isn't allowed into the U.S. at this point with the way, most countries are getting rid of these vaccine mandates all over the place. So a little slow, we're pretty much there, but of course, these bureaucracies and things, they move slower than everyone else. Djokovic kept out of the tournament. With that said, Rafa playing unbelievable. What he had to do to overcome this. And look, this is what it means. He's closing in. Djokovic at 37. Rafa one away. He could be 21-0 going into the clay. He could be tied with Djokovic in Masters 1000s. And then Roger looking pretty far behind now at 28. But just look at the numbers after him. It's important to emphasize Roger's 5 years older than Rafa, 6 years older than Djokovic. And with Roger, you got to think, he's from a different generation than these guys. 5 years is a long time in a tennis career. And if you see, going back further than Roger, the Masters 1000, they weren't even called that when Roger was playing. They weren't Masters 1000s. People didn't think of these tournaments the same way. They weren't as big of a deal, so there wasn't as much emphasis on the importance of winning these things. And clearly you can see Agassi 17, Murray with 12. Murray had the emphasis on winning them. He just didn't win as many because Roger, Rafa, and Djokovic were winning them all. Sampras with 11, Mr. Mustard with 8. and Michael Chang with 7. So it wasn't like, everyone had to try to win these like they were almost as important as the Grand Slams. It became that as Roger was a few years into the career for sure. But by the time he was winning them, it still wasn't quite like that. It was really, when Djokovic and Nadal started winning a lot of them, that's when people got more into these tournaments, Miami and Indian Wells in particular. But then the other Masters started becoming a little more important on top of that. Anyways, with that said, we have to play the best thing. Look at Rafa, very happy. It was a party with the lady gyrating. It was a party with Rafa kicking the balls. And then who is there to do the interview on Tennis TV? I thought he was a Tennis Channel guy. Paul Anaconda, coach of Taylor Fritz, who, of course, Rafa's going to play in the final later today. Why is this spy interviewing Rafa about the tactics? Anyways, I won't play you much, but I will play you this. Rafa was asked about playing in the wind. And take a listen to Rafa when asked about playing in the wind. And keep in mind what I said earlier, my criticism of the Tennis TV commentators. They're saying Alcaraz incredibly was dealt with the wind better than Rafa, who's usually known as one of the best players in the world to deal with wind because of all the spin he can get on a shot. Obviously, Alcaraz can get a lot of spin on his shot too. Take a listen to what Rafa had to say about that.
Let's hear from Rafa. He's talking to Paul Anaconda.
But in the second, well, the conditions became crazy, honestly, with not funny playing like this wind, even if it's sometimes a challenge. I can enjoy that, but in terms of tennis, it's okay. In terms of stopping all the time because the net was not good, no. So then in the third, I think I played much better. I played more aggressive. It's true that I saved a couple of balls, but he played some great points too, saving amazing balls. I don't know. I am super happy. Being the final means a lot to me, and just keep going. To
me, this is pretty obvious. I'm surprised the Tennis TV commentators missed it. Rafa's more concerned about constantly having to stop. You think about Rafa, who is, so stuck in all the routines for good reason. It's working pretty well, as we can see. But, Rafa, coming down to all that stuff, Rafa is not going to want to take little breaks in the action. He wants to stick with the routine, everything he does with about the same amount of time in between points. All this starting and stopping. It definitely gapped in Rafa's head. Yes, Alcaraz was unbelievable for the entire match, but I think we should give some credit there. Rafa was not. He even had the head official come out, and he was talking to him about. You saw the little metal stick they have on the side to hoist up the net on the tram lines, the doubles alleys. You saw that thing kept falling over. Who was that guy? Was that Nacho Vidales or something like that? Was the umpire? He had to get down very slow. He was going very slow when he got down. By the way, I'm sure Rafa didn't like that. Anyways. At least Michael Russell, the other coach of Taylor Fritz, right? You would think at least he's not there spying on this. Maybe he was watching. But with a little investigative journalism here at Coffee Break Tennis, if you look closely, Paul Anaconda holding the microphone, talking to Rafa. But just to Rafa's over his left shoulder, zoom in carefully, and camouflaged in with the mineral sunscreen, which I have some here today. We're going to do a live application of mineral sunscreen to see if I look anything like Michael Russell, the Ghostface Killer. We're going to do that later in the show. But as you zoom in, you see Michael Russell was there as well, spying. Unfair, and I think this should be taken up with the highest authority in the ATP. Show officially started. Comment below. Comment below if you disagree with me or if you do agree. Is it cheating? Is it cheating that Paul Anaconda gets to do the encore interview with Rafa? I know someone else doing it could ask similar questions and they could listen to it, right? That's normal. But Anaconda picking the questions about all of Rafa's tactics, wanting to know all of Rafa's secrets. I don't like it. Rubs me the wrong way. I wonder what Ollie thinks about it out there. Bet he's furious. Today on the show, we'll look at some stats and we'll do some comments because we already went through all these things I wanted to talk about. Can we see that one more time? This is a big Raw fan. She's just showing off the Raw fan. It was not about the Busta. Not Pablo Carreño Busta. I don't understand why they cut away from her. She's had a great smile. I rather enjoy seeing this woman. Maybe it's just me. Let's go straight to some comments and we'll look at some stats because there was some great stuff. Charlie Boy, put it on the screen. Everyone says Kyrgios has matured, including myself. Of course, when I first brought that up, I was talking about a clip I saw of Kyrgios saying he said he has matured. I was reporting the news. I mean, I do think he's matured a little, but he's always going to be Nick Kyrgios. Everyone, Kyrgios has matured. Throws a racket, almost hits ball boy. Remember when Djokovic bounced a racket and like went into the crowd, and he got really upset with some of the questions in the press conference afterwards? I think that was when Djokovic was like, "You guys are ridiculous." Everyone, surprised Pikachu face. Some people will never learn and never change. Maybe so, Charlie boy. Next up, SLC 2466. Just got back from watching the match. Definitely the best I've seen over the years in Indian Wells. I don't know if it's the best. You know, it's hard to say. You got to start thinking, well, what other matches have happened? It's easy to remember some things that were pretty incredible, especially at the time. But it's an instant classic. This will be a match that gets replayed that people will remember for sure. Carlos spectacular, appearing completely unfazed by the situation, blasting winner after winner, while Nadal digs deep. Is I dig deep. Typical refuse to lose mentality. Battling past his young charge. Bastard of a wind in the second set, which found debris flying everywhere. Bastardo everywhere on the court. Giving those ball kids a raise for their insane retrieval skills. I did notice that as well. The ball kids were having to hustle around a lot. Every time a napkin. And who's letting their napkins fly out on the court in this incredible match? Well, I guess I should say who's screaming like a maniac. It was happening in this match too. There's been a lot of, Rafa had to stop a few times because some guys, as Carlos Bernardos would say, is, you're the only person acting like crazy person. Anyways, hats flying around in the stands. Certainly not RF hats. If it was an RF hat, that's batted down quite carefully. I can't wait to see Carlos play his next tournament while hoping for 21 and 37 on Sunday for Rafa, although he's given his fans a hell of a ride in 2022 regardless. Yeah, even if Rafa somehow went down to Taylor Fritz boy, which would be a tragedy, let's give it up for Taylor Fritz boy. We'll mention that match, but to me, everything was about the Nadal-Alcaraz match. Rublev, go to Miami last year. When Rublev is the favorite and he's in a big match with a lot on the line, he has had some moments, a little mental on that side. Very angry, Rublev, in that first set. Fritzy boy, a lot of firepower. He'll be a little dangerous to Rafa if Rafa has something horrible go on. Rafa did have treatment yesterday. We should have to talk about something with his back. It's not just the foot now. I still think Rafa wins. But we'll give some credit to Fritz boy. And, it's a great story. He's the hometown hero, and he's going against the hero of the world for tennis fans. Hero of the world. The fact that we know about Nadal's injury now, and it's kind of like in 2017 when Roger comes back. Everyone, it just makes it more of a human interest story. We're all rooting for Rafa now. Even if you don't like Rafa at this point, I don't care. If you love Djokovic so much or you love Federer so much that you can't support this guy Rafa, when you saw the emotion on his face, the come-ons, in that encore interview with Paul Anaconda, he was a little bit hoarse in the voice. From all the screaming, come on. Anyways, let's move on to another one. I did want to say one thing from this SLC comment, though. Can't wait to see Carlos play the next tournament. Thank God for that, because otherwise a lot of people wouldn't be watching Miami. We're all going to be curious to see how the bozos, the Big Four, next-gen bozos, the fake Big Four, we want to see how they bounce back, how hurt their feelings are. And, of course, we want to see what Carlos can do after this. Arun Chada. Spot on, Matt. It is a comical amount of sun cream. I love that he said sun cream instead of sunscreen because it doesn't look like sunscreen. It looks like he put cream on his face, like whipped cream. It's a cream. Nonchalant. He might be using mineral sunscreen. Well, so do I, and we shall find out in the test soon. Rafa Nadal is the GOAT regardless from OMC. And that was nonchalant on the last one. He had to compete with peak Roger and peak Novak. This is true. He doesn't have the massive advantage of having 2 Grand Slams on his surface, right? There's only one Grand Slam that is on clay. Si es verdad. Despite the above, he has more Grand Slams, which is ridiculous. Even if he had 2 or 3 less, he would be the GOAT by averaging the 3 surfaces. I've never believed in that because all 4 guys get to deal with the same 4 surfaces. Yes, Rafa's favorite is there. Roger's favorite was grass. There's only one there. You can't say it doesn't apply there a little bit. If there was 2 grass court majors, Roger would have won a lot more. It is what it is. Whoever wins the most majors is the GOAT. I'm feeling very sympathetic to the case of I would like to see Rafa finish this thing. Always with Roger for me, but I don't know if he's going to be able to win. If Roger could win one more Wimbledon, it would be a miracle. And I still think it's possible. I don't see Roger winning more than one more Wimbledon. That sounds like the best we could hope for. Roger that. For the sunscreen, it's likely zinc-based, stays on your skin, does not poison you. Also, if he had any type of skin cancer, even a benign one like Basel, home tournament of Roger Federer. No, he's not overdoing it. And by the look of how he covers it up, I suspect he's had it. Okay, interesting theory from Roger that. I apologize to Michael Russell. Spy against Rafa for Fritzy Boy. If that's the case, we're a little sensitive to that. I might get it one day. As much time as I spend in the sun, I certainly hope not. But I like this theory better. TJ Falterman. Oh, one more thing. Rob Atkinson said, I think if Alcaraz beats Rafa, then Rublev could fluke it. Well, he already fluked it against Fritzy Boy. Although, credit to Fritzy Boy, a lot of offensive firepower. TJ Falterman. Michael Russell's sunscreen application is more of a statement than a practicality. Si es verdad? The muscle-bound ghost coach, if you will, in the sun or in the shadows, he still pumps iron of a UFC middleweight. Definitely true. He could definitely smash a racket quicker than Sasha Zverev and the ATP veterans. They certainly know it. All right. The sunscreen. Sunscreen challenge. On the face, Michael Russell. Non-tampered with, right? Just so you know, no tomfoolery here. I'm freshly opening a new batch of sunscreen, and I never waste it, right? There's a little bit on that. A little bit on that little thing on there, huh? We don't want to waste any sunscreen here. We're not rich. We don't got Rafa boat money. We don't get that Larry Ellison money. By the way, I thought Larry Ellison had a new girlfriend, right? He had a girlfriend who was like 19 years old. Larry Ellison's like 100 or something. And he had a girlfriend who was really young, and she's not there now. He's got someone more age appropriate, right? She's only like 40 instead of 100. More age appropriate. Is that enough? Michael Russell will definitely use more than that. We got to do this right. And then I realized, oh wait, that's Monica Seles. Is Larry Ellison? Comment below. Did I miss something? Is Larry Ellison dating Monica Seles? Sun cream on the hands. Oh yeah, applying to the face. Got to get the forehead. The bandana covers the top, but he's changed the bandana sometimes. Get it on the back of the neck. The ears. Very important to get the ears. Do I look like the muscle-bound ghost coach? Falterman? Herr Falterman? Senor Falterman? Senor Falterman? Comment below. Did this, and maybe hold off on the comment. It needs time to sink into the skin. Needs a little time. I wish Mr. Goat was down here to see this. He doesn't like when I put on sunscreen because it makes me smell different. And then you got the extra on the hands. This is a tennis coach trick. In the fingers. Can't remember how to say fingers. Give it a second. Don't comment. I probably look just like Michael Russell right now. Oh my God. You can tell I really don't want to look like Michael Russell. All right, let's go to the stats, and you can look at my face and comment below after the stats. Put the stats on the screen, sir. Mr. Goat, hit the stats. Thank you. More reason to see how incredible that this is. Rafa, only 4 more points total. More on the unreturned serves. That was something I mentioned. Now, Rafa, we know he doesn't hit a lot of aces, and he's the greatest of all time, apparently. So I did say, watch out. Maybe Alcaraz's serve won't be enough to put a dent into Rafa, right? Maybe Rafa could bully him a little bit because he wasn't hitting any aces. I mean, Alcaraz's serve, he had one ace. Obviously, his serve is getting better. It's getting bigger. But it was one factor going into this match I was looking at, seeing, would this really be a big deal? Not really. He's so good at everything that he should have won this. Look at this. -2. 39 winners on 41 unforced. Rafa, -15. 20 winners on 35 unforced errors. Let's look at those net points, though. Rafa came to net 30 times. 20 out of 30, so 2 for 3, 66% success rate. Alcaraz, I was looking at the wrong one. That's baseline points. 68, huh? 13 out of 20, so a lower success rate there for sure, and less trips to the net. The net was key. Rafa, he said in his after his encore interview with Paul Anaconda Spy, he said that coming to the net in the second set was kind of crazy because of the win. In the third set, he said he had to do something. He had to do something because of how aggressive Carlos Alcaraz was. Final stats here. Let's look at this. The serving numbers. Alcaraz better on the second serve, especially in that second set. Alcaraz winning way more in second serve than first serve, and the commentators point out, great point they made. And wins like that, those are the kind of weird stats you will see where, for whatever reason, he's winning more in the second serve than when his first serve goes in. Maybe something to do with putting spin on it. Sometimes when you hit a second serve, you definitely spin it more than on most first serves. And sometimes, you can kind of slide that spin to go with the wind. It can really be helpful. Good reason to learn a slice serve, because if the wind is blowing the way your slice goes, then yeah, it's going to fly a little faster sideways. A lot of balls going sideways in that second set. Any other interesting, exactly same ratio, 91% topspin, 9% slice from both players. Rafa averaging more power on both shots, just by 2 miles an hour on each forehand and backhand, than Alcaraz, making more returns than Alcaraz. Not a ton more, especially on second, only 1% more, 5% significant on the first serve, and winning one more break of serve over Alcaraz. And now on the return, Alcaraz a lot more slicey on the return. We know Nadal is going to stay back and grip and rip, and we showed you at the end of yesterday's video how he likes to be back for the return and then get right on top of the baseline, start dictating right after the return. So interesting thing right there. Anyways, hit the music. We'll get out of here. Comment below. Does anyone in the world think that Taylor Fritz is going to win today? I mean, we certainly hope not. It feels like if he did win, it would be because Rafa's hurt. It's going to be tough to recover from this, but he is the king of clay. And right now, as things stand, he is our greatest tennis player of all time. Rafa, the GOAT, as this woman showed us in her homemade sign with the GOAT Rafa. We will be back tomorrow morning to wrap up Indian Wells, and we'll talk a little bit about Miami, and I'll tell you about the horrible thing that happened in this household that we have overcome. It does involve Mr. GOAT. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. We'll have more time tomorrow. I'm not as much of a rush. Still got tennis lessons even today. A lot of stuff going on. Back tomorrow. See you.